So here we are. This is episode 2 of the NUUBREW journey. What we're going to be doing today is my first speaking event. I want to be speaking a bit about, the journey that I've been on so far, coming from a personal trainer, going all the way to founding NUUBREW. Yeah, we're just going to see how it goes. I mean, the thing is, what you have to do, you have to sometimes just take a dive into the deep end and put yourself in uncomfortable situations where you do feel uncomfortable, and over time you just get better and better at it. So I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself. I'm just going to go out there, I'm going to explain and talk about what I need to talk about. But first off, what we're going to do, I'm going to head over now to the IO, which is a gym in Marbella. Me and Ito, we're going to get a quick workout in, and then after that we're going to come back to the event, and yeah, we're going to see how it goes. Right, ready? Right, we're out here at the event now, so it's speaking time. Let's go. Feeling good. I'm feeling confident. I haven't prepared anything. I think what I'm going to do, I'm just gonna go in and wing it. Because most of these things, I think if you prepare it too much, I think in the end, since you have it in your head exactly how you want to say it, it will then come out wrong. So I'm just going to wing it. I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to speak about, realistically, just me, just what's happened over the years, and these past 3 years, the ups and downs that I've had and where we are today in terms of the company, in terms of NUUBREW, and yeah, just try and tell the story a bit. I mean, I'm looking now because I have a panel talk in a bit, and I'm just looking at the topics that we're going to be speaking on. So first topic, how can entrepreneurs develop the resilience and adaptability needed to thrive amid rapid technological disruption, especially with the fast pace of AI and innovation? So I think that's pretty simple. I can speak a little bit about that. Second one, we have, what are some practical strategies startups can use to identify and capitalize on AI-driven opportunities, even without deep technical expertise? Easy as well. And then last thing we're going to be touching on is, how can the entrepreneurial ecosystem, including investors, accelerators, and institutions, better support founders in navigating ethical, regulatory, and implementation challenges related to emerging technologies like AI? That will maybe a little bit more complicated. But like I said, I'm just going to go up there. We're going to get some nice clips and nice photos, and realistically, yeah, just try and flow. I was trying, like yesterday I was in my apartment and I had the screen behind with like the presentation, and I was trying to envision myself in front of the public and try and practice it, and it was terrible. So one thing that I've got to be very, very wary of is like the time. So I'm just going to make sure that my timing is correct. Other than that, just flow naturally and try and speak on all the points that I want to go over. So yeah, so we're just here waiting now for everyone to come back to the event. I'll do my first panel talk, and then at 6:30 I've got my speech from PT to CEO, how a young, inexperienced personal trainer is building the next big thing in coffee. Yeah? Sounds good. That's the thing, like some of these topics, like they're outrageous. Like, how can the entrepreneurial ecosystem, including investors, accelerators, and institutions, better support founders in navigating ethical, regulatory, and implementation challenges? Really.
Amazing founders here, so I'm going to start and say hello to everybody.
Hello everyone, my name is Ryan. I'm a personal trainer, and now I'm just building my first startup now. The company's called NUUBREW. It's a functional coffee company. Hands out. That's not very good.
Infusion in the coffee.
Yeah.
Something I want to pick up.
Well, I'll get you some.
We produce,
I'll get you some.
We produce a lot of coffee actually ourselves.
Ah, well, there we go. The reason why people stay away from regular coffee, because coffee in itself is actually it's a superfood. There's a lot of good nutrients, but the reason why people actually stay away from coffee is the caffeine, and because it makes them give it like a big crash, and you know the jitters, so it makes you focus. So.
Where did you do?
I just want to introduce myself. Who am I? Who is Ryan? So me, Ryan, I'm a personal trainer, and I'm now the founder and CEO of a company called NUUBREW. 3 years ago, I started my journey off as a personal trainer. And I just want to say, if I were to stand and sit Ryan amongst the crowd, amongst you guys today, Ryan from 3 years ago, I can guarantee you he would not believe that he is looking at Ryan. And it's not because of any physical change. I grew my hair out a little bit, maybe got a little bit bigger, but it's mostly because of the mental change and the mindset change that Ryan had to make during these 3 years in order to become the person that he is today. And that is kind of like the general topic of what I want to speak about today. The general topic is, who do you have to become before in your mind in order to become a successful entrepreneur, and how do you build the confidence enough in yourself to be able to believe that you are going to build this startup and it is going to be successful. So, like I said, 3 years ago I was on the gym floor. I was working hours and hours, speaking with clients and getting clients into shape, helping them build muscle, helping them lose fat. And at the start, I was terrible. I was a terrible personal trainer. I was very bad. So I realized very quick, I need to learn these skills. And what skills do I need to learn to be able to become better as a personal trainer? And so then I started building up my character. I started to listen to podcasts. I started to read books, and just try and gather general knowledge to be able to become a better personal trainer, but more so just to be able to present myself better. You know, I would listen to podcasts on how to speak and how to appear confident when I'm speaking. And along the way, it worked. I started to get a lot more clients. Testimonials were very good, and they all recognized me as this very good personal trainer. So then, after this, I was quite successful. And this is the thing, I had my little bit of taste of success. And what happened? I got off track. I started to go out a lot. Thing is, you think that's a normal thing that 20-year-olds do. You know, you're 20 years old, you want to go out, you want to party and all this stuff. But I took a little bit too much. So I went off track, and listen, you need to change this. So I went back home that night, and I sat down in the living room, and I got my vision plan out again, and I started to read it. And I said, right, Ryan, that's it. Today, you're going to make a change. You're going to make a change. And what I had to do, I had to go all the way back to square one. I had to rebuild the foundations again. I had to rebuild that mindset that I had initially built at the start. I had to build that back up again. One thing I realized, if you do go off track, it's not as easy as going, right, okay, I'm going to get back to everything. You've got to start completely from zero. You've got to build them habits back up. So I decided to do this, started to build myself back up, and I got back up to the top, and even more. I started to get even more clients, and then I was going into the venture of going into being an online coach. So along the way of being an online, I would go to different events and learn how to do this, so I started to put it into play. 5 months in, no results. I was waking up every morning, doing these videos, nothing was working for me. And the thing is, I remember what I would do, I would just literally look at what everyone else is doing. So if this person is doing a video like this, I need to do a video like this. If this person, so I would copy what was working, what I thought was working, but it didn't work for me. And the reason why, and this is something that I later on realized, is because it's not who I am. I'm copying someone. I've been looking at everything that you do and everything you talk about for the past 4 days. And I truly do believe that you don't believe in yourself, which I thought was a bit weird because I consider myself quite confident. So I never really questioned my confidence. And he kind of pointed it out to me, he kind of said, Ryan, you actually do not believe that you have all the skills and all the knowledge in order to take that next step in your life. I wanted to have some sort of a business, right? I wanted to have my own business. Right now, you're at the start of your journey, right? You're writing your own story. You have to wake up in the morning and believe that you are this person already. And you're starting off at point A, and when you wake up tomorrow, you are already that person. You look yourself in the mirror and you say, I am Ryan, and I am, and then whatever you want to be in the future, you already are that person. You just have to believe it. Just have a coffee for breakfast. But I had all these pills in front of me as well, and cognitive enhancers and ashwagandha. But while I was having the coffee, I was trying to eat all these pills, take all these pills. And I remember I was like drinking my coffee, having the pill, drinking my coffee. And I stopped for a minute. I said, do you know you can buy a coffee with all these supplements already inside, all in one? He said, Ryan, get online, order me some now. I said to him, to be honest with you, I'm not too sure there is any. He said, well, there you go. You found a problem, right? You found a problem you're having. What you're going to do now, Ryan, you're going to go back to Spain and you're going to work on this. So I said, okay. I kept forgetting to take my pills in the morning. I believe a lot of people take supplements. I personally forget to take my pills in the morning, but I never forget to take my coffee. So I went back to Spain and I started experimenting. Right? I had all the supplements and I had the idea of what I wanted to build, which was a coffee to deliver a more sustained, calmer energy. Right? So I started mixing supplements like lion's mane, ashwagandha, and all this sort of stuff in my bedroom. And I mixed these all up, mixing these powders in, tasted it, and it was horrible, disgusting. So I'm thinking, well, I can't drink this every morning. It needs to taste well. So anyway, and when you start off, getting into a business, you don't know where to start. I go back to Spain, I'm still a personal trainer. How do I start a business? I've got to do a website, I've got to come up with a name, and then I've got to do marketing and all this stuff. It can be very overwhelming, right? So I'm back, and I decided to call the company NUUBREW, right? And the whole reason behind it is going to be like a new brew, a new cup of coffee. That's going to be like something new, where people can have this cup of coffee and they can feel like a new person. So then I get into the business, and then I start to figure out what you're supposed to do and how to raise capital and all these things that as an early entrepreneur you're not really too sure about. I had to do pitch decks and I had to do projections and all this stuff. 5 months down the line, I'm building my company and I think I'm doing good, and I start getting people saying, oh, this is a good idea. I start validating my idea. People are liking it. The thing is, what I do tell people is entrepreneurship, it feels like it's slowly dying. Day by day passes, you're slowly dying. Anything personal that happens, any problem that comes up in your life, you're affected by it and everything stops because no one else working on the company. And that happened to me. It happened to me actually 3 times along the journey of building the company. I came up with this idea a year and a half ago, and it was only last month when we actually got our first samples. Right? And this is one thing that I tell people when they are thinking about an idea: don't expect it to happen overnight, right? Because I had to fight through this problem and this all on my own initially to finally get here speaking about it now. So I had another fall. I had a bit of mental breakdown, and I was doing this all alone, and I felt very lost. So then I'm thinking, right, well, Ryan, there's got to be a way out of this. There's got to be a way out. You've got to do it. And I remember I stopped the project completely for a month. I'd given up. And I thought, Ryan, that's it. You just got to take on. You're going to be a personal trainer your whole life, and you're going to just. This is how it is. But then I had to dig a little bit deeper into finding your purpose. Right. The 3 questions you need to ask yourself is: who am I? What is my purpose? And why do I wake up every morning? And these 3 questions, the answers can get very deep, right? And I had to dig deep into why I woke up every morning and why I was doing what I was doing. I'm just lost, I'm trying this business idea and this business idea. I said, okay, come to me, we can go have a coffee and maybe I can give you a hand. So we go and have a coffee, and I see him there waiting with his laptop open with this new business idea that he had. And as soon as I sat down, Ryan, what do you think about this business idea? And I said to him, well, let's have a coffee first. Right, let's have a coffee first. We'll look at your business idea in a bit. He looked at me like, what do you mean? So I sat down, had our coffee, and I asked him, why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you want this? What's the end goal with this business? What do you want from life? He looked at me like I was some sort of weirdo, like, what's this guy asking me? And he looked at me in shock and he said, I don't know. He didn't have his path clear. He didn't know what he was going for. He didn't know what he wanted in the future, who he wanted to be, what was his purpose. So every idea that came to his mind, doesn't matter if it was the best business ever or the best business plan, it doesn't matter, before the pitch deck, he didn't have his path. So anything he tried, every job, every business, it was going to fail because at the end, it didn't make him feel fulfilled. So every job he went to, since it's not aligned with his path, he would burn out. Every business that he would start, since it's not aligned with his path, he would fail. So going back to NUUBREW, one of the things that I want to try and deliver with NUUBREW, and the whole kind of meaning and the whole kind of philosophy that I want to build with this, is anything is possible. In the sense that whatever you're thinking and whatever you want to achieve in life, whether that be a business, whether that be a career path, whatever it is, it's possible. The only thing that you need to have is the belief in yourself that you are the person that is capable of getting there. But on top of that, you have to have figured out more or less who you are, what your purpose is. Okay? So NUUBREW is now moving on. After a year and a half, I finally got things moving on. Things started to get real. I thought, oh my God, we're here. I'm meeting the manufacturers. I've got the product in my hand right now. I'm tasting it. Wow, this is real. One thing that first-time founders, they just never talk about, right? Enthusiasm, the exciting new beginnings. This idea is going to be the best thing ever. This is going to be amazing. It's going to change the world. I'm going to make so much money. You realize it's actually very hard to start a business, and you have a big drop. And this point right here, this is where you have to figure out more or less what your purpose is and who you are. Because a lot of people, when this happens, they give up. After that, you start your business, you don't know where to start, you start getting imposter syndrome, uncertainty and self-doubt starts to creep in. A lot of time goes by. For me, like I said, a year and a half. Along the way, you find your why, your reason why you want to make this thing successful. Why is this so important for you? Why do you want to wake up tomorrow and get this thing to work? What is it? A lot of people, it could be your family. A lot of people could be, if you have kids, it's for your kids. If you don't have kids in my situation, it's for my future family. Basically a better future for my kids. Then along the way, you have another hit. But now you know who you are, you know your purpose, so it's a lot better and it's a lot easier for you to get back on track. Things get moving, but you're still stuck with that constant hum of anxiety in the back of your head. You still think you're not enough, you're not this person, you're not capable of bringing this to the level you want to bring it to. You manage to pull yourself out of the hole again. People start to follow you on your journey. You start to see the people that actually believe in your project. They're telling you, wow, this is super cool. We did a run club last week. You know, you see all these people and they're all taking photos of the t-shirt, look at the coffee, look at this. You actually see this is not something now, it's not an idea, it's actually out there in the world. After that, you get to the point where you say, I've done it, that's it, I've launched. The one thing that I thought I was never going to do, I remember a year and a half ago I gave up, I thought I was never going to get this money to do this, I thought I was never going to get this product out there, I've done it. You eventually launch, and then what happens? All over again. Constant cycle. This is the thing, this is one thing that I've learned. This is life, and this is entrepreneurship, right? And then I stopped for a minute while I was doing this thing, and I thought, hold on a minute, this looks very similar. And it was a thing that my friend wrote out to me. And I understand it now. And the thing is, life, we just have to live it as the day goes, right? We need to be present. We need to learn how to be present and enjoy what we have. And if I was to give like a definition of life, I'd just say it's just enjoying the passage of time. The hard times and the bad times. You know, people say you can't have brightness without darkness. You can't have happiness without sadness. You can't have success without failure. So just keep in mind that you are going somewhere, and feel fortunate that you have that mindset, that you actually do believe that you are going to end up somewhere better than where you are today. But along the line, you're going to have a lot of down moments. You're going to feel down, you're going to doubt, and everything is going to go very bad. And I'd also say entrepreneurship is kind of like being a professional mountain climber. You start your journey at the bottom of the mountain, you climb your first mountain, you get to the peak, you celebrate, all of a sudden you fall back down. I'm all the way back down here again. A lot of people get stuck on that first mountain. They look at their feet in distress. Oh, what am I doing? I'm all the way back down here. Oh, I'm never going to get back up. take a moment to breathe, stop looking at your feet, try and lift your head up and look at the mountain. And you go, hold on a minute, that's very similar to the last mountain I've just climbed. Take the first step, climb the mountain again. All of a sudden you're back up at the peak. Here I am again. And now this time, be patient, calm. And then you're going to look down and you go, oh, there it is, I'm going to go down again. And then you go down again. And you climb up again and you go down. And you get to this point where you actually enjoy when things are going bad. Me, for example, when everything's going good, I keep myself calm and I wait for something bad to happen. I actually get excited by things happening, bad times coming. Because I know that when bad times come, better times will come after. And this mindset, it's something that you can't read out of a book to understand. You can't listen to a podcast. You can't learn it anywhere else but by you actually experiencing it. And having the strength to, when you do run into that first downfall, you compose yourself and you bring yourself back up. So, if there's one thing that I want anyone in this crowd to take from today, I was 20 years old when I had this idea to build this company. Right now in the company, there's 6 of us in the team. Who would have thought Ryan from 3 years ago, the personal trainer, was the person that was able to bring these people on, believe in your project, and take this idea to where it is currently now today. Right now, NUUBREW is in the early stages. We're going to be launching, hopefully, by the end of summer. And to be honest with you, it still doesn't feel quite real. I'm still kind of like, oh, we're documenting the whole journey. We've got YouTube channels up, and we're trying to bring this whole thing together. Because one thing that I want people to see is how someone who technically is inexperienced in business can then go to build this massive company and revolutionize the coffee game. Any questions? How do I take care of my own energy? So basically when times are going bad, how do I get better? Basically you're saying. And my emotional health. That's a question I need to ask myself sometimes as well. But I go back to my why. I go back to my why am I doing this? And for a lot of people it can go very deep. You know, for me, for an example, I didn't come from like a super, you know, good background. I had a very good childhood growing up, but along the way, I felt very lost and very out of place. And I just wanted to build a better future for my family and basically inspire people like myself who are feeling lost in life. I want to be able to be that person that people go, Ryan, that's a guy, you know, people are feeling lost. Give Ryan a ring, Ryan will give you some advice, Ryan will tell you how you are. But the one thing that actually did it for me, the one thing that actually, when I felt lost in terms of like who I was, my character, my persona, I didn't know who I was in terms of my character. What I did, I asked myself, and I pictured this situation, basically the situation, I'm dead, right? And imagine my coffin is here, I'm dead, and all you people have come to my funeral, right? And there's someone standing here on this podium, and they're reading my eulogy. So basically, a eulogy is basically a speech that someone gives, and they describe the person, how they was, who they were, what they did for them. And I imagined all these people coming up to the microphone. Ryan was amazing. I remember one time when I was feeling very bad, he came and helped. You know, helped me out with this business. And then there was one time I was suffering with my relationship, and Ryan came and he gave me a hand. He was always someone there and always someone to help. So then when I went back from Manchester, I realized that's who I want to be. I want to be the person known for helping people, right? So how do I make a business off of it to prove that I went from A to B, and that alone to inspire people to then continue to do their business and all that. And then in the future, I want to write books. I want to write books for people who are in my position, lost in life, no direction, and hopefully they feel a little bit better at the end of the book. So yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so first event done, speaking in front of an audience. I thought it went very well. You know, I do look forward to doing this more in the future and try and inspire as many people as possible with the company. And yeah, just to get more people to believe that whatever dream and whatever idea you have, you know, I was speaking on stage 3 years ago. I could never even imagine myself in front of an audience of people speaking about my journey. It was only 2 years ago when I was actually an attendee, like in one of these talks. So to actually be there and have some sort of knowledge and be able to inspire the people that were there, it says a lot, and it does say that, you know, we're on the right track. So yeah, so just everyone just keep updated. NUUBREW is coming soon. We're very excited about that. We're just finalising the last few things with the samples and the taste. And so yeah, so you'll be seeing a lot more.